What's up, guys? Welcome to Vintage Genetics, where it is all about classic bodybuilding. And today will be a chest workout with basic exercises, alternative exercises, and supersets you may like very much to bump the chest into new growth. And in this gym, I'm pretty much not using any machines, so cannot be any more old school slash basic than this. And the basic exercises are always the best. And during chest, of course, I like to include the bench press. As you see, I'm going all the way up and all the way down, keeping constant tension on the chest. Don't let the bar bounce off of your chest, and don't lock your arms out at the very top. This is really a basic chest builder that a lot of people, kind of waste as an exercise because they don't do it correctly. They either spread out their elbows too far, flare them out too far, working or messing up the front delts. And in my opinion, actually in my experience, I've used to have front delts that were impinged because of this exercise, because I didn't balance them out and my form wasn't right. So you always have to go all the way down to make sure that you don't pick a weight that you cannot do, because if you go only 80% down and you pick a weight that is too heavy and you go through that 80%, so you go down 85%, guess what? You're now in an area of range of motion you're not used to any weight, so you will give up and you might actually hurt yourself or injure yourself, which is not what we want. So always use a full range of motion during any exercise to prevent injury and to fully build those muscles that you are working. And control the weight on the way down. The negative portion of the bench press is very important for chest development, for any muscle development, because the negative portion of any rep builds the most muscle because it damages the most of the muscle fiber. And this will be a heavy set. I'm about 3 weeks out in this very video, which means that my power, my strength is going down just a little bit, but with correct form, a correct warm-up, because as you saw I did some warm-up sets as well. You can still go pretty heavy if you take the right precautions, like I just did with my shoulder blades. Pull them back, create a strong foundation so that your body doesn't move off of the bench and you can have a lot of pressing power in the movement. And then it is a lot safer, of course, in combination with a spotter, to do an exercise like this quite heavily. And what I also like to point out during the bench press is the width that you're holding the bar. I hold it quite wide because I notice that the wider I hold the bar, the better the stretch will be on my chest. And this is a barbell exercise, which makes it difficult to actually contract the chest, because the chest is fully contracted when the hands are actually close together. And on a barbell, you cannot move them close together, so you maximize the effect of the barbell, which is the stretch effect, by moving your hands apart a little more, at least wider than shoulder width, in my opinion, a lot wider. But if you go too wide, you may not be able to get good form with your elbows. Anyway, we're moving on to the next exercise, the unilateral floor presses. Honestly, this is the first time I've done them, but I've seen bodybuilders like Antoine Vaillant and other bodybuilders, strong bodybuilders, use this exercise to build up the triceps and the chest at the same time. As you guys know, my triceps are a weak point, so using this variation will build both of them at the same time. And I like to superset this with some ring push-ups. Compared to a regular push-ups, you can actually go deeper on the rings. I used to do gymnastics pretty much 10 years ago, and I really loved using the rings, so having them in a gym like this is a perfect opportunity to use them again. And I've seen them in other strongman gyms as well, like Elliot Hulse. Watched a couple of his videos years ago myself, and simply using exercises like that apart from the standard exercises really targets some muscle fibers that you weren't able to target before. But right now you will see a full set of unilateral floor presses. Unilateral stands for using one arm at the same time. And notice that I'm using my left arm first. I always tell people, use your weakest part of the body first before moving on to the strong body part. Why? Because I would only be able to do 8 or 10 reps with the left side, but perhaps 10 to 12 with the right side. And you will be able to see it just now that my right side presses the weight a lot easier. At least it feels a lot easier. And that means that my left side isn't as coordinated as my right, or simply not as strong. So always start out with your weakest slash most underdeveloped part. And for chest, it is difficult to actually get even pecs if you have an imbalance there. So doing exercises like this unilaterally will definitely aid you with this. And an exercise like this, I understand that a lot of people don't have access to rings like this, but even doing regular push-ups after a unilateral press like this allows you to work both pecs at the same time, but at the same time use both arms unilaterally, because as you can see, each arm does its own movement, and a bodyweight movement is always very good for muscle development. And here I am showing you the last couple of reps of the last set of the exercise. I usually am not able to record this because I usually have a spotter, but this exercise is difficult to spot, so I'm just showing you the last set right here.
Oh.
You feel that now?
That was the warm one.
And as we haven't done incline movements yet, I will be doing an incline dumbbell fly supersetted with body weight dips. I have done this, supersetting an exercise with body weight dips for a while now because I really love it, because the body weight dips normally I could do 15 or 20 reps, but supersetting it really limits me to 10 reps to the max, especially when you're doing a heavy set of an exercise beforehand. So I really recommend you guys try that out, and especially with an incline movement, because this movement right here, as you can see on the chest itself, works the upper pecs the most because it's an incline movement. And now we're walking over to the bodyweight dips, a dip station, and guess what? That works the lower pecs. So combining the upper and the lower in one exercise creates an amazing pump that you will see after I finish this very set. So this is really to failure every single time I'm doing the superset, and it feels just amazing. You can see the stretch in the chest at the bottom. I like to go at least 90 degrees with my arms, making sure that the chest stretches to the max. You can see the fibers stretching out, and then you know you're stretching deep enough. And that's also why I like being lean, so you can actually see if you're doing the exercise correctly. And right now the pump is amazing, and when the pump is amazing, all that fresh blood with all those nutrients are being driven to those very muscle fibers that you want to grow. And that is what bodybuilding is all about. And these two exercises are stretch exercises. So when doing this superset, I recommend doing it not at the very start of the workout, but actually when you have a nice pump already. So when the pump is there in your muscles, when you can feel the muscle fascia stretching out, when you can feel all the blood sitting in there, the stretch is actually even more beneficial compared to doing it at the very beginning. So first we did a bench press, a unilateral press, some ring push-ups, really filling up the chest, doing quite a lot of reps there, making sure the blood is in the chest, and then doing a superset with 2 stretch exercises. So the dumbbell fly stretching all the way down is a very incredible stretch exercise, and of course these bodyweight dips are amazing as well, because you can't really contract the chest at the top, so it's really all about stretching it at the bottom, kind of like the bench press is, but just a little different because we are going to failure here, driving blood more efficiently and faster into the muscles because these are faster paced reps with a shorter range of motion in terms of moving your arms. And what I also like to mention during dumbbell flies, especially incline dumbbell flies, is do not go too heavy. The chest and the shoulders, the front delts, are so much intertwined that one mistake can really mess up the front delts. And in turn, it messes up all your chest workouts. And is that what we want as classic bodybuilders? Absolutely not. So make sure not to go too heavy, make sure to control the weight on the way down, really focus on the stretch and the contraction at the top. Shouldn't be too extreme, because if it's too extreme, you will actually force your arms to be locked out and the tension will be gone from the weights and you actually contract the chest yourself. But the tension from the weights is gone, and that is not what we want to have happen. And right after that you go again to the bodyweight dips, and here again control yourself on the way down. If you let yourself drop too much, if your arms go lower than 90 degrees way too fast, then you might actually impinge your shoulders even more, because you can really see that the front delts are taking a heavy load, but you want to make it all about the chest, because that is what we are training. And this is a very interesting tricep press or tricep exercise. You can actually do this on the Smith machine bar as well. Keep it about hip height. And what you do then is really focus on the long head of the tricep. So really stretch it out to the very max. I used to do this on a Smith machine, as I mentioned, but it's not here. So using TRX bands, handles, also works very well. Actually makes it even better because it's two different handles allowing the arms to move freely. And that does make it a little more difficult for sure, but since triceps are my weak point and what I want to work on is the long head of the triceps, this is a perfect exercise that Arnold Schwarzenegger used to do, Lee Priest used to do. They all have incredible triceps, so of course I'm implementing this exercise quite often in my chest and tricep routines, and you can really feel the ultimate stretch in the long head, and the better the stretch, the better the contraction, and the better the results will be. And we superset this with, again, some push-ups, but this time it is tricep push-ups, which means your hands are about shoulder width and you really focus on the medial head of the triceps. And after a workout like this, you shouldn't be able to do a lot of reps, especially when focusing purely on the triceps and not as much the chest. So this was the workout of today. A lot more is coming nutrition wise. I hope you enjoyed it, and don't forget to stay golden.
Oh ja, dan moet je toch weer omhoog komen.
Dat is echt niet grappig.